In this tutorial, we're going to cover one of the most talked about features in the Mothernode CRM series, specifically available in Mothernode Sales and Marketing Edition and Professional Edition, and that's the ability to create web forms to be placed on your web page, in your blogs, on your Facebook page, all to collect leads directly into your Mothernode CRM. So what we're going to do is we're going to break this up into 4 specific short videos. This will probably be the longest, and the other ones will be pretty quick. The first one, we're going to view how to create a web form. We're going to go through that process. The second video is going to show us how we can take that web form and put it on our website. The third video is going to show us how we do that, but with Facebook. How do we put a web form onto Facebook? And the final video is going to just really cover campaigns and show us how we can use a marketing campaign to collect all of the form information, all of the leads and opportunities that were produced by web forms, and see how much money they were actually generating for your business. Okay? So let's start with this. The first thing I want to show you, though, is with respect to your web forms, there is one feature that you will want to take advantage of in your, where I went to here is your company profile. So if you're an administrator, you want to go into SMTP information. And if you can, create an email address for Mothernode using your own email settings. In this case, we made one called no.reply@mothernode.com. If you're a solopreneur or a smaller group, you can actually use your email address. The web forms are going to come from you. But you have to use this feature in order for the auto response to work. Okay, you will not have access to an auto response if this doesn't exist. So basically, this is going to enable you to send an auto response to anybody that fills out the form. Click submit, then they'll get an auto response if you filled this out. Okay? All right. Back in over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the marketing tab. And if you're in the sales and marketing edition or the professional edition, you have access to this. Okay? So we're going to go down here to web forms. And we already have one in here, and this is the one we're actually going to use to sort of illustrate all the different capabilities of the web form. But what we're going to do is we'll show you how to make a new one and just give you a general vacant overview of what one looks like as soon as you create it. So let's go ahead and create a new one, and in this case, let's just call it demo and say this is a demo, and then click save. All right. Now we're presented with the web form. So I can scroll down, see what the options are, and we'll cover these. Okay, it's pretty straightforward. On the left-hand side, I have all of the configurations for the form. Okay, how I want it to behave, how I want it to look, and so on. Off to the right-hand side, I have all of the fields that are available in my leads and opportunities. Now when I scroll down, I see to the very bottom, the only ones I have are the ones that come with Mothernode. So I haven't created any custom fields, but if I did in my leads and opportunities, they would be at the very bottom and that list would continue. Okay? Now let's take a look at what we're seeing here. Is I have a label caption. I can change the label. Now in our leads and opportunities, let me give you an example of why you're going to want to do this with some fields, not all of them. The label caption in the leads and opportunity is prospect. This really is the company that you're working with, or the one that is in your leads and opportunities, how you name them as a company. Well, when you present this in a form, you don't want to call the person a prospect. So name them, just say company name. Okay? Alternatively, another one that you want to pay attention to is lead source. Lead source is where did this lead come from? In other words, how did they hear about you? So you might want to change that to read, how did you hear about us? Okay? Now you can see off to the side here, by default, all of them are put in as required. And you can start to choose which ones you don't want to have added in your web form. This is what this column is for. If the box is checked, this will appear in the web form. You can see in some cases, fields are grouped. Okay, this is kind of obvious. This is address. You're going to put all this information together. And then off to the side, you can see here to the right of that, there's another column, and you can choose which of these fields are required. And we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get into the real web form that we've built. One is always required. It's the first one. Okay, you'll have to put that in no matter what. And finally, over to the side, we have the field size, and it comes in 3 sizes: full, medium, and small. Okay, so basically a zip code you might want to make smaller, but right now they're all the same length. All right. And you'll see in the future that once you do this and you set this up, you can actually duplicate web forms and not have to do any of this again. Just hit duplicate, 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 and then you can make as many web forms as you want. There's no limit to that, okay? All right, let's take a look, and we'll take a very high-level look over here to the left-hand side. So this is the form that we gave it a name. Down here is the style of the form. This is how we make the form look like our website, okay? And we'll cover that in detail as we go into the next exercise. Down below are the confirmation options. What are the things that will happen after the form is submitted? Okay, we have that down here. And then a couple of final touches here is that who will get notified when a web form was submitted. So you can choose one of your users from the list and select them, and they will get notified. You can also sign a promo code. Now, you don't have to have a promo code with the web form, but the benefit of tying the promo code to it is that's how you're actually going to build a marketing campaign that has a promo code that has web forms associated with it, and that's where you can see how much revenue is actually been achieved by those specific web forms for wherever they were placed. Okay, it could be blogs, could be your Facebook page, and so on. And this is just an internal reference. This section here is going to be the code that we use to copy and paste into our website, our blog, wherever that may be. And we'll spend more time on that in the second and third videos, okay? So, that being said, we've got our web form. This is one that we've built. I'm going to just go ahead and save it so you can see it now in the list. We're going to go back to show list, and then now you can see the one that we made is in there, okay? So, what we want to focus on now is what a real web form looks like, and this is going to be the example that we have in the demonstration. So I'm going to go edit here, and now you can see I actually have some information, okay? So let's start over here because we'll make this very quick. Off to the side, basically what I like to do is I can drag and drop these fields, okay, to resort them, and how I present them will be how they're presented in the actual web form itself. Now, if I had one up here and it wasn't selected, then basically it would read telephone, then it would jump right to website, okay, just so you know. There wouldn't be a big gap. But what I like to do is once I get all the fields I'm going to be working with, and in this case I'm only using these, then what I do is I just scooch them all to the top just so I can see which ones are available, okay? So you can see down below there's a bunch of ones for this exercise that I'm not really interested in, okay? So we're just going to keep these ones up here. So now I have the description up here, and basically what the description is going to do, it's going to just preface instructions of what the form is about, what can they expect, and so on and so forth. So I put that in there, and we'll see how that comes together. Now my form style here, basically, this is what I'm going to be using to mimic my website, okay? So if I have special font characters that I'm using here, I have a couple of ones of the traditional web ones that I want to use. I can make it bold, italic, I can choose the different font size and such. And this is for the title, which is up here. This one's here for the description, which is this text here. And then the labels will be what font am I using for these labels when they're presented the form on screen, okay? Then I have a background, and typically what I like to do is make that background white, which if you are not a coder, it's $ FF, 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 okay? Black is 000000. Now, I do that, it automatically selects that color for me, and then I click select, and I'm good to go there, okay? By default, it gives me a border around this, which typically looks, you'll see something like this, but we're not actually going to show the border in this case because I don't like seeing the border, but what it can do here is it can make this border look like this, and I can control the width of this border, how many pixels it's going to be. If I don't want to see a border, what I do is I just make it white, okay? So F, 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 okay? Set, select, we're good to go, it's white. All right. Now I can also control the width of the form. This is depending on where I want to have it on my website. You have some options here. I'm just going to go with this standard width. It's nothing exciting. I'll just leave that there the way it is. All right. Good. Design style's done. All right. Down below, confirmation options. I have two confirmations options here. One is show the text, okay, that's written below. This means that when somebody hits submit on that form, if this were selected, then a new page would show we've received your form submission, okay? This is your opportunity to either send further instructions of what they should be doing, what the user should expect after they submitted the form, if there's a response time that's involved, and so on, you can do that, okay? The one that I like is the redirect. And the redirect sends me to any URL that I want. Now, what I want to do, my advice to you, is to keep them in your website, send them to another page with, like I said, you can either tell them what to expect afterwards and so on, but keep them hooked. Offer them something else. Don't just say thanks. Show them a new service, a new promotion, new product. Just because you fill out this form, this is awesome, you just got this. You can send them to a special download page that they can go and download a white paper or a brochure or whatnot. In this specific case, the one that we're putting out there is the actual ability to download a product brief. So this person is going to come to our form, fill it out, and they want a Mothernode CRM product brief. So down below I have a very important option. And that is a choice that I can make at this point as to where should this page that they end up on appear. By default, it leaves them in their current browser window and takes them to the new page. I highly recommend that, okay? So it takes them away from the form and it takes them to the new page. There are other options. Open in a target URL in current iframe. If you're using the iframe option, it can open the resulting page within an iframe. I would experiment with that first to understand how that works before you decide to go ahead with it. I would leave it on the first one. And finally, if you had to, you can open up in a target new browser tab, okay? And if that happens, then basically it opens up in a new tab up here, okay? Again, a couple of options there, but we highly recommend that you stay with the first one. Now, finally, because we completed this information up here, like we talked about in the very beginning, this option here is now available to us. Send an auto reply. If we didn't have that information completed, you would not see this and you'd see a message, okay? So what we're doing here is that in this auto reply, we're basically saying that once the user hits submit, they'll receive an email from you, from the address that you put in here, okay? Now, there's also a subject. So in this one, we're calling it Get Started with Mothernode CRM. Then down below, we have a rich text editor, and we can include graphics, text, bold, fonts, bullets, numbers, whatever you want. You can format it the way you'd like. And this is basically giving them a link to download this brochure, okay, this product brief. And of course, we want to keep them involved with us. We want them to come back and sign up, so we've actually told them you can sign up for a trial here and come on over, okay? The other thing I would call to your attention is this specific notice. If you are capturing their email address, which you need in order to use this specific auto reply, then you can include in your message, like an email to them, their first name by typing it in just like that, their last name by typing it in just like that, or their full name, okay? So you can add that in there if you want to personalize the message and send it to them. Okay, some great stuff. Down below, I have the message going to me, okay, I'll be collecting this, and then over here, I'm assigning this to promo code THERM10000. Now this is another demonstration I used in the past. I set up one about thermometers and such, so it's not really going to apply here, but the data will be relevant because when you see this information come through, it all makes sense, okay? So you can assign it to any promo code that you want. Now why are you doing this? Well, here on this side, we can actually ask for the promo code, but the problem is the person might not enter it if we don't make it a required field, and if we are putting this form someplace, we can assign the promo code so we don't have to ask for it and we are certain where that form came from. A good example is this. You're watching television, you see a commercial. The commercial comes on and it basically says go to our website, ask for more information, and use promo code TV. Well, that's their way of knowing that you saw the commercial. Get it? Good. So use promo codes in that. Perfect. Now that we've done this, let me just go ahead and click save. Save this here. I always want to see update successful at the top. I want to make sure I save those little changes that I made. So now what we're going to do is test our web form. And you can see here we have two options. There's an HTML link and then the pop-up. I'm going to use the pop-up just to show you a side-by-side comparison of what's on screen and what the form looks like. Okay? So when I click this, I open it up. And I'm going to go back to this screen over here so I can look at this side by side. And you can see what's happening here is that my title is showing up over here. This is my description down below. These are formatted according to my specifications. So all the design here has been achieved by making these specific selections, okay? Then the other thing I want to note too is I actually have a CAPTCHA down below. And this is put there on purpose. This is so bots don't spam your Mothernode. You see this in WordPress. You see this in a lot of, you see this all over the internet. The reason why it's there is so only human beings can fill out forms, okay? You don't have electronic bots that are coming through that sometimes can look very convincing. So in this specific case, we use the CAPTCHA. So now what I want to do to show you this is that, first of all, in this form, we're having a redirect going to the pricing, the global pricing down here. So what I'd like to do is test this as an HTML link, the one below it. So I'm going to click on this. And then down here, what I'm going to do is I'm actually fill out the form, okay? So I'm going to do company ABC, 123 Inc. Why don't we do that one? Then I'm going to say it came to us from an advertisement. We asked them where you heard of, how you heard about us. 514, throw in a number here. Website, say mothernode.com. And I have my salutations, and I'll put in my name, Ken Pearson. And then I'll put in my email address that I'm going to use. Now, first of all, one thing I want to call your attention on this, okay? Very important. This is your opportunity to collect information from your user, okay? So here's a hint. Collect as much useful information as you possibly can. If you want to get crazy with some of the custom fields and start doing survey questions, and fine, you can do that. But listen, you at least want the company name. You want to contact somebody you can speak with. You want a contact method, so you want to get an email address, first name, last name, and then, of course, an address if you can. People who are serious about doing business with you will fill out that information. That's a great way to start weeding out some of the people who are probably just lurking or could be even competitors trying to get some information from you, okay? So you want to make sure that you get as much information as you can. Now, down below, I don't really know what this says, so I'm going to go over here and try and refresh that as another option and add this in. And then I'm going to... All right, now I'm going to go ahead and submit the form. Now, the call to action is that we said once this form gets submitted, the next three things we're going to take a look at, we're going to see I'm going to be taken to the page that I said I should be redirected to, which is our pricing page, so if a new customer can come in and sign up. The next thing that's going to happen is I'm actually going to get an email, okay? So this is me submitting the form, and this address here will get the email that comes through, and it'll be the confirmation. And then finally, what we'll look at is this new company 123 is a brand new lead within our leads and opportunities. Okay, so let's take a look. I click submit. The form goes. I come to the new page. By the way, while we're here, these are the two plans that offer the web forms, okay, and the campaigns. You can see down below I have a new message, okay? So I'm the person that filled this out. Let's go take a look. Bravo, there's my message that just came through. So in this case, we wanted to get their information exchanged for a product brief, so I've now just linked to the product brief online. When I click on this, it'll open up. There it is. I honored my part of the bargain, and this person got their product brief. All right, and finally, what did I end up getting? Well, let's go take a look back now in our leads and opportunities. And when I go to leads and opportunities, company 123, and this was the information that I asked for, and it tells me the name of the form that sent this to me. Some really powerful stuff. Get involved, start putting those web forms up, and start grabbing that business off of the internet wherever you have a presence, okay? The next step in all of this is now to take these forms and put them into your website, and that is what the next series are going to show you. Stay tuned, check those out, and I hope that you start using these immediately, because it is a great way to generate leads, to generate new business wherever you have a presence on the internet.